One macro trick that blew my mind when I found out about it in Vim is you can switch windows or switch panes with the normal Vim commands and include that in your macro, which means you can do a macro across multiple different files at the same time. I'm in this Python file and there's this variable called nita import, and I want to get all these files in a certain directory in there as like strings. There's a lot of different ways to do that. This is definitely not the most optimal, but I'm going to do it for sake of example. So if I open up a vertical split with VSP, these are now the same file. But if I go over here with Control W L, oh, I guess I was not in normal mode. There we go. Control W L and Control W H to switch back. So that's how you go between panes. Now I'm going to open up my file explorer, which is this plugin called Oil. It's a great plugin because it lets you run normal Vim macros and stuff on files. You can like select and delete stuff like that. So I'm going to go into this directory, assets, and then GIFs. And you can see we've got, looks like 84 different images in here. And I want to copy each one of these into this nita import variable. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to start recording a macro, QW, because W is just the classic macro name for some reason. And then I'm going to capital I to go to the beginning of the line and insert, enter quotes. And I want the full path. So I'm going to do /assets/gifts/. And then I'm going to go back into normal mode. Control W, L to go to this part of the window. And then I'm going to yank to the end with $. And then I'm going to go down a line, 0 just to be safe. And then Control W, H to go back here. And now I'm going to paste that, A to go into insert mode, and then close quotes, comma, go down, go to normal mode, and then close the macro. And now we need to run this 83 more times. So I'm going to type 83 at W, and then boom, it captured all the way to the end except wheat for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why that happened, but you know, that's a minimal amount of effort to fix. So that was all well and good, but we're in Python and it's got the indentation thing. So to fix that, I can V around paragraph and then O to make sure I'm at the right place. And then you can actually just type =. Another thing a lot of people don't know is you can actually edit your macros once they've been recorded. Say we have 100 numbers, and to get that I can do 100 I0 enter escape. 100 zeros, perfect. And I want these incremented too. So if I select around the paragraph, you could, one way to get these incremented would be to make a macro like J and then Control A a certain number of times, but there's a way easier way. You could just do G Control A, and then that'll auto increment all the way up to 100. So I'm gonna create a very simple macro. Let's just make one that surrounds each one of these in brackets. So QW, I to go to the beginning, bracket, A to go to the end, and then colon for some reason, and then close bracket, comma, and then J to go back to the next line, and then 0 to go to the beginning. And then let's run that 99 times, 99 at W, and then perfect. Those are all like that. But now say I want some kind of change to this macro. I can actually edit it by using the reg command, and that'll show me what I've got in each register. And if we look under W, the macro is right there. So I can insert that into the buffer with quotes, and then W, and then P. So there's the macro right there. Let's say we also want some kind of content in here, so I could type content. And maybe, yeah, that's a good simple example. So then to put that back where it was in the register with this new edit, quote W, yank to the end, and it should be in there now. I guess I'll just run it on this and we'll get a weird double bracket thing. So I can select the whole thing, norm at W, and then boom, we have nested double content. So if you didn't know, you can actually edit your macro and then reinsert it into the register, and those get recorded into registers. So that's kind of weird. One big important hack within this is the ability to insert certain characters. So if I go back a little bit, you can see in here, there's this like control, it looks like the control symbol and then this bracket, and that's actually one character. You can see if I move over it, and then it's right there too. And that's what the escape sequence is for returning to normal mode. And you might think you can type that out with like that, but that is not the same thing. Those are completely different. If you want to get that, what you need to use is Control V, and then after you've pressed Control V, you can press any other key combination, it'll insert it. So if I press Escape, that's how you get it. And similarly, if you wanted like Control A in your macro, it would be Control V. Oops, I think I was in normal. Control V and then Control A, and that'll insert the Control A sequence. So that's very useful, especially in like normal mode. So if I want to, I don't know, increment, or let's say decrement each of these, norm and then Control V to insert a value, and then Control X to decrement. And then if I run that on this range, it'll decrement all of them. So Control V, another very handy one. And then yeah, reg to look at what macros you have recorded. Hopefully you got something out of that. Those are some pretty unusual macro tips for you.